Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Call of Duty video. In tonight's video, I'm going to be talking about my experience so far with Modern Warfare and my honest feedback or honest opinion as of right now. Of course, the beta, basically there was 2 weekends of the beta and the official game releases on October 25th. So I'm very excited about that, and I'm just going to talk about the positives and the negatives and sort of my overall feelings as of right now in the game's life cycle, which technically the game isn't even out, but most of us haven't had a chance to play it somewhat with the beta. So we're going to talk about all that stuff. If you could drop a like on this video. I know quite a few people have been asking for my thoughts on Modern Warfare, asking, what I'm thinking about that game and if I'm going to be covering it when it comes out. We're going to be talking about all that. I will be covering the game. So drop a like on this thing. Let's go ahead and go for 710 likes. If you could hit that on this video, that would be incredible. And let's get right into it and talk about it. So this beta came out and there was 2 weekends of the beta, at least for me on PS4. Now, honestly, the first weekend I didn't really get to play it as much as I wanted to. I played just a little bit, but the second weekend I got a little more time and I was able to hit level 30, I think, which was the max level, and I didn't go much above level 30 though, so I wasn't able to get a much more playtime and to be grinding the game as much as I would have liked maybe, but that's what happened when it's only released for a limited time on 2 different weekends, right? Once this game comes out, I'm going to be able to fully dive in, and also the beta, I mean, you're limited on maps, all that sort of stuff. It really is just a test, but it does give you a general good test of what you can expect from maps and modes a little bit. The gunplay you can definitely feel, the class setups, the streaks, and different things like that. So we're going to be talking about all that stuff. First of all, let's get right into it and talk about the gunplay. What did I feel about just overall on the game? How does the game feel? Because that's a good thing about Call of Duty. Some Call of Duty games, they just are good. When you get a kill, you feel good about yourself and you want to keep playing. I think Modern Warfare, it did give me that feeling. And I don't know if I'm biased because I've always been a Modern Warfare guy. I mean, when it comes to Call of Duty, there's basically Modern Warfare and Black Ops, and everyone really likes those 2 series, and then the rest of it is sort of, oh, there might be a good thing here or a bad thing here, right? So Modern Warfare, I've always been a person that my first ever Call of Duty I played was the original Modern Warfare, and then right after that, like a month or 2 after, I got Modern Warfare 2, and it was off to the races from there. So I've always been a Modern Warfare guy, and I do like the feel of the gunplay in this thing, and that it's the classic weapons. Now, I was using the MP5K, the MP7, the M4A1, that one gun that's like a FAMAS. I'm not sure if it was called FAMAS, but a bunch of weapons in this game. Of course, it's that Modern Warfare classic feel, so that automatically holds a spot in my heart, and I'm already liking that. And then when it comes to actually using the weapons and the gunplay of the weapons, that's a big part of Call of Duty. Like I said earlier, how does it feel when you're getting kills? And in this game, honestly, it does feel good. The gunplay feels amazing. The one thing is that you do die super duper fast, and I remember when Call of Duty Ghosts came out, that was a big criticism of it. I think that's going to be a criticism of this game as well. You do have a fast time to kill, which honestly, coming from Black Ops 4, it is kind of hard to adjust to, because Black Ops 4 is one of the slowest time to kills in Call of Duty history because of having 150 HP per player. So there's good and bad things about it. The fast time to kill means you can get quad feeds and double kills very quick, but it also means that sometimes a player that's not as good could get a lucky kill on you, or just needs that little split second to have the angle on you and get that kill. So I'm not sure if the time to kill, it does feel a little fast for my liking, to be honest. Honestly, just off the top of my head, it feels like one of the fastest time to kills in Call of Duty history. I'm not sure if that's true or not. That's just based on my experience. So I think that is a little bit quick. Honestly, I don't think they're going to be tweaking that. Maybe slightly, probably not though. To tweak it, the game's not out yet, so you could actually do quite a bit of tweaks. Because I remember in Infinite Warfare when that game came out, and the beta, the gun balancing in the beta was kind of whack, and then when it came out, the full game, the gun balancing was pretty good compared to the beta, of course. So there are some changes, and there was only like a month or 2 in between, so that could be possible. They could adjust the time to kill. That is one thing that I can just point out. It did seem a little bit quick. Not that that's the biggest worst thing in the world, but that was one thing that was a little bit questionable. But the gunplay and all that I really do like. I like how the guns have it's a little bit more realistic with the muzzle flash. I don't really know how I feel about that. It's sort of whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't play Call of Duty to be like a realism sort of game. I'm playing this game for fun. I'm playing this game to pub stomp, to play some pub matches and have some fun. So when it comes down to that, that's a little iffy as well. But I do like how the guns feel, how the recoil patterns work, so that is a plus for me. Going into next thing to talk about, and there's quite a few things to talk about here. I want to give out sort of all my thoughts on this, right? The class setups. Now, the class setups are completely different from what we have with the Pick 10 system. And when it comes down to just the traditional perks, grenades, all that stuff, I think that's okay to have on the class class setups. But what I really like about these setups is the gun customization, how you can level up your weapons, how you can leveling up the weapons is similar to how it was in Modern Warfare 3, although you get way more benefit in this game compared to Modern Warfare 3, where it was just whatever proficiencies, and then you got a gold camo and stuff like that. I hope maybe they do the gold camo around leveling up your weapons similar to Modern Warfare 3. That would be amazing. But yeah, class setups in this game, it's a different completely from the pick 10 system, as you're sort of locked into your nades and perks and things. Although I think it makes it a little bit simpler on that aspect. So the class setups are a little simple on that aspect. How when it comes down to using the weapon, which is pretty much the most important thing, especially coming from a game like Black Ops 4, where you see me all the time in my class setups, I'm rocking either 3 or 4 attachments. Very rarely am I only rocking 2 attachments in a game like Black Ops 4. In this Modern Warfare game, your gun customization, and I'm going to be making class setups and covering all this stuff because that's what's really going to come down to. Your perks are going to be important, your grenades are going to be important, but when it comes down to customizing that weapon and making sure, because of some of these attachments that you have on these weapons, give you positives but also give you negatives, it really does come down to a lot of testing and trade-offs, and I think there's going to be a lot of time to experiment with these class setups, and I am very excited about this system. I'm glad that even though it's more of a classic sort of system in the sense, the way they made the weapon customization really is interesting and awesome. So I am a fan of that when it comes down to the class setups. So I will say they're taking away a little bit of the stuff I like from the class setups, but they're adding in a whole new thing that I think a lot of players are going to love, and a whole new aspect of customization, which is always a plus if it works out well. So on that aspect, I like the gunplay, I like the class setups. When it comes to the maps and modes, honestly, what was I playing the most? I was playing the 10v10 domination. I did like how you could search and you could design. If you click that little thing beside it, you could custom design to search for the game modes and matches that you wanted. So I really did like how I was able to just like when I found something I wanted, I would just play like 10v10 domination. I played quite a bit. I did dabble a bit in ground war, of course, in the 6v6. And when it comes down to the game maps and modes, I think this really makes or breaks a Call of Duty game, and especially this game, where, like I said, I'm already liking the gunplay, I'm liking the classic feel of the guns or the weapons because of the Modern Warfare, the history to that game. But when it comes to maps and modes, that's still up for grabs, and I think that's really what's going to determine if this game is going to be good or great. I played everything. The 6v6 maps that we had, a couple of the maps were good, a couple of the maps are bad, which is traditional when it comes to betas. I don't know why they do that. It seems like they do that every year. Some of the maps are good, some of the maps are bad. The 10v10 map I did like. However, there's quite a few angles on these maps, and even the shipping yard or docking yard map, while that is a small map in design, there's just so many different angles and spots and getting up on top of buildings where it's a little bit questionable, the design, but as long as they're keeping those maps and modes, which are the 6v6 ones, small to medium size, I think that would be okay. And with this one, it's sort of, I really am still questionable on this one because it's just the beta. I liked some of the maps and modes that I saw, but I don't really know what to say. They could come out and they could be 70% trash, like a game like Ghosts, where that game, I like the gunplay in that game, I liked the class setups in that game, I liked that they had specialists, the assault streaks were really whack in that game, but when it came down to the maps, that's what really killed Call of Duty Ghosts. If it was just playing on Afraid and Strike Zone and Warhawk, that game would be amazing if their streaks were a little bit better, and of course there's other things, but when they threw in Stonehaven and Stormfront, these just awful maps, it really did cost, and I'm really hoping this doesn't happen in Modern Warfare. Please, when this game comes out, make the maps and modes good. The good thing is that even if there's something you don't like, it looks like there's a bunch of different options, right? Like the 32v32 ground war sort of thing. I played that a little bit. I did enjoy that. It reminded me a bit, it literally reminded me a mixture of COD Ghosts and like an old Battlefield game I'd play, like a Battlefield Bad Company 2 or something like that. I think that will bring in, much like how Blackout brought in a new sort of fan base, especially on PC, but even on console across, to a Battle Royale fan base into Call of Duty. I think that maybe this will bring sort of a more open Battlefield sort of base to Call of Duty, which could be very smart and could be for growing the franchise. So I am a fan of that. That specific ground war map that we did play, it was a lot of just posting up around those buildings and sort of camping for streaks and things like that, or other teams sniping from the way back. I wasn't the biggest fan of that map in particular, but we'll have to wait and see when it comes down to the maps and modes. This is something that I'm a bit concerned about, but I think if they do it right, and even if they don't do it right, if you're able to limit and pick sort of what you're going into, maybe we can customize it ourselves to get a good experience, right? Next thing we have to talk about is the kill streaks. The kill streaks in this game, it was a little bit, I mean, off the start, it was an absolute joke where they did it with no mini map and the personal rate. The game has to have a mini map. I hope it does when it comes out. I'm guessing 90% it will. But the streaks, when it comes down to, these streaks seem like they're good. They seem like they're better than Call of Duty Ghosts. They seem like maybe a similar, maybe a little bit worse than Infinite Warfare, but similar to around that. Of course, Infinite Warfare had this thing where later in the game's life cycle, like turning the advanced UAV into a VSAT with like DLC. I don't even know what that crap was called, but they updated, like there was updates for your streaks or DLC for streaks or something like that, which is kind of funny, but really did make the streaks better in IW. I don't know how this game the streaks are going to be. I like streaks where you don't have to go run into the back and hide and call in the chopper gunner and shoot people. I like ones where you can just call in something and let like the dogs or the swarm from Black Ops 2 just go absolutely ham. I've been watching some more Black Ops 2 gameplays lately, and those things are just monsters. So the streaks in this game is another one where I think that it's looking good. Obviously, we didn't get to experience all of it. The fact that there's a nuke is absolutely awesome as well. But the streaks are one thing where I think they're going to be good, but I don't know if they're going to be great, as good as like Treyarch games do with their streaks. We're going to have to wait and see more when it comes down to that. But that's not my biggest concern. Honestly, my biggest concern would be with the maps and modes, because that's what really makes or breaks a Call of Duty game. And if they're able to keep it small to medium maps that don't have 500 different angles for noobs to get free kills, I think that could be really good. So when it comes down to the overall feel of this stuff, the streaks, the maps, the guns, I'm liking this game so far. The gunplay I absolutely love. I love the guns. I love how the class setups are. The maps and modes I'm questionable on, but there is so many different options that, like I said, I was able to find something that I was into and just grind out sort of that. And then when it comes to streaks, it's another one where we haven't really seen it all, and streaks are something that, I mean, Call of Duty games, even when we're talking about a beta here, and when a game is released, the amount of updates they do, even after release in October or November, whenever Call of Duty games usually release, the amount of updates after that is just absolutely crazy. So if we're talking about a beta, I'm a little bit concerned about the streaks, but I think they'll be able to figure it out. And it is, when it comes down to it, it is Infinity Ward, who's done streaks pretty well, except for Ghost, which was a huge blemish on that radar. Next thing we want to talk about is the PS4 exclusivity, which means that the Spec Ops survival missions are only on PS4 for the first year, which is kind of just like crazy. A year exclusivity, that kind of sucks. Honestly, I don't think that the Spec Ops survival missions are going to be the best thing ever, though. I'm not sure if they will. In Modern Warfare 2, those things weren't played as much. In COD Ghost, the Kraken mode, the Extinction, that was actually really fun. But we'll have to wait and see how it is in this game. Obviously, we don't even know yet. But the fact that I mean, look at Black Ops 4, where they dropped like all DLC a week later on other consoles from PS4. That was pretty pathetic and really sucked. This isn't as bad. I mean, at least for me and because the people I know and are into multiplayer mainly. If you're into Spec Ops Survival, obviously this is the worst thing that could ever happen to you if you're on Xbox. But if you're a multiplayer fan, this is sort of okay. And then the other thing I see people talking about is the microtransactions. And I see people saying like, oh, they're going to do it good this year. Guys, I got a news flash for everyone. This is Activision. This is about money. We don't matter to these people. The only reason we matter is because we play the game and we spend money on the game. This is a publicly traded company, right? I think Activision is. They're all about the money. Even if we've seen this trick 30 times over. They're going to come out. It's going to be cosmetic only off the start, and then probably halfway through or whenever they want, whenever they're not making enough money, they'll make them. They'll start to ramp up the amount of interest in the DLC content and sort of change the mode. I mean, Black Ops 4, it had such a good DLC system at the start. You could earn everything, and I mean, still you can earn if you play and you grind out the drop. It still is a decent, I mean, it's way better than the Black Ops 3 system was, but they completely switched it up like 5 months into Black Ops 4 and made it more where you had to pay to sort of get stuff. I wouldn't be surprised. Like just don't have any expectation. When it comes to microtransactions, we're talking about Call of Duty and Activision. Expect the worst at all times. And that's just how sort of I go into it. Maybe not expect the worst at all times, but I'm sort of just numb to it at this point. They're gonna screw the fan base over. It's not about us. It's about making money, and it sucks, but it's just how it is. And I'm not like, I see a lot of people getting hurt on Twitter, like, oh, they're gonna. I don't know if they're gonna be called supply drops. I don't know if they're gonna be called care packages out of the sky, hot air balloons, whatever they call it. It's gonna be some BS to make them money, and there isn't really. I don't see Call of Duty having an ideal system like a League of Legends, which has a great cosmetic system nobody's mad about, or even like a Fortnite, which has a good one. I don't know if Call of Duty can get to that level on Modern Warfare. I mean, it would be amazing if they could, where, you know, but that's always been a big issue with the Call of Duty, the DLC and microtransactions. I don't think that's going to change. I think we're going to have more problems with that this year, but that's sort of a pick your poison when it comes with Call of Duty. So that's one thing I want to talk about. It's probably going to be a joke. I don't have any info on that. I'm just going off of what I know from previous Call of Duty games. Now, the game industry is switching up a little bit, but I thought this last year, I thought, oh, Black Ops 4, they'll do it a little different because it's switching up. And while they did, they made it a tiny bit better. I mean, I think maybe Modern Warfare will be a tiny bit better than Black Ops 4, maybe. But at the end of the day, people are it's still gonna be some sort of pay to get better items. That's what it's gonna be. That's what gaming has become nowadays. You have to be a freaking millionaire to even be a gamer nowadays, it seems like. And it's kind of a joke, but whatever. All we can do about it is voice our opinions, and that's what we're gonna continue to do. So that's about it when it comes down to this game. Honestly, I like the game. I think it's awesome. I think it's gonna be great, and it comes down to the support. If they support this game properly, this could be a game that lasts for a very long time. I think Black Ops 4 even could be a game that lasts for a very long time. I'm excited to see the camos, to see what we really get into with Infinity Ward actually diving deep, because it's been a while. You know, Treyarch has been dominating with their Black Ops games for a while, but it's been some time since Infinity Ward took a big stand up there, probably since Modern Warfare 3, because Ghost was a little bit lower, IW was a little bit lower, but now we're ready, and we're getting ready for Modern Warfare and Infinity Ward to take a stand. I'm excited for it. I've always been a Modern Warfare guy. I love Black Ops as well, but I think this game is going to be good, and on my first impressions, I have some concerns, but overall, I like the game. I like the feel, and honestly, I'm having a positive outlook towards this game, just because of the core gameplay and being able to, if there's all those different options, hopefully we'll be able to lock in. Even a game like Ghost, which had a bunch of trash in it, they had Strike Zone 24/7, where I was able to play with my friends. They had a competitive playlist. So as long as there's a few things that are enjoyable, a game can be great. I think Modern Warfare will have way more enjoyable things than COD Ghost, way more than a few, and I think this is a game that could possibly last, depending on how they support it and depending on how the community really embraces it once it comes out and how the devs support the community. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. That's my honest opinion on Modern Warfare. There are some downsides to it, which is obviously going to happen when it's a beta. I think a lot of those will be fixed before it comes out. I think there will be a lot of problems too. There's going to be a lot of kinks that have to be worked out throughout the first couple months of the game. That always happens, but that's about it. Drop a like if you made it to the end of the video. Comment down below 17. This is a 17-minute commentary. I've just been talking about my feelings. So if you actually made it to the end, comment 17 down below so I know you did. Let me know your thoughts about this game. Like I said, I'm just giving my honest feedback. I got no reason to, extra hype the game up, or no reason to extra shit on the game. So I'm just going to give my honest feedback. I'm going to try to remain positive, because why not? And this game honestly did give me a lot of things to look forward to. The gunplay felt amazing, and it brought me back to the feelings sort of a Ghost or Modern Warfare 3 in terms of gunplay and how enjoyable it was, or even like a Black Ops 2. Thanks for watching, guys. Drop a like, subscribe, catch you on the next one, and I'm out. Peace.